Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for all the departments at College of Arts for their efforts and cooperation to achieve this festival in its third version, aiming to read literary texts from different cultures like Arabic, English, American, French, and Turkish literature. Again, we come to you, our guests, in this cultural festival held by College of Arts, University of Mosul, under the patronage of the President of the University of Mosul, Professor Dr. Hussein Kamaluddin Ahmedi, and under the supervision of the Dean of the College of Arts, Dr. Muhammad Ali Muhammad Ahmed, along with the heads of the participating departments. Many thanks for all of them. And special welcome to you, our guests, in this festival led by our students from different departments. My name is Udar Hassani, a lecturer in English Language and Literature, College of Arts, University of Mosul. I'll be a co-moderator for this event. For now, let me introduce you to our students of the English and Translation Department of College of Arts who will read different genres from English and American literature, like poetry, novel, drama, and short story. So welcome to you, our promising students for both departments. I just wanted to know that you worked hard to attend this festival and you are brave and you can make it all done. So, well, meanwhile, it's my pleasure to introduce our amazing student, Rania Ahmed, who will read to you extracts from the short story by the American writer Ernest Hemingway called A Clean, Well-Lighted Place. So you can start, Rania. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today I shall present you A Clean Well-Lighted Place, which is a short story written by Ernest Hemingway. The story is about an old man and the old waiter in a clean, well-lighted cafe. They are both victims of fear, loneliness, hopelessness, and consider this place as a refuge from deserted night. A clean, well-lighted place. It was very late, and everyone had left the cafe, except an old man who sat in the shadow the leaves of the tree made against the electric light. In the daytime, the street was dusty, but at night, the dew settled the dust, and the old man liked to sit late because he was deaf, and now at night it was quiet and he felt different. The two waiters inside the cafe knew that the old man was a little drunk, and while he was really lying, they knew that if he became too drunk, he would leave without paying, so they kept watch on him. Last week he tried to commit suicide. One waiter said, "Why?" He was in despair. What about? Nothing. How do you know it was nothing? He had plenty of money. They sat together at a table that was close against the wall near the door of the cafe. I looked at the terrace where the tables were except where the old man sat, in the shadow of the leaves of the tree that moved slightly in the wind. A girl and a soldier went by in the street. The street light shone on the brass number on his collar. The girl wore no headset and hurried beside him. The guard will pick him up. One waiter said, "What does it matter if he gets what he's after? He had better get off the street now, the guard will get him." They went by 5 minutes later. The old man sitting in the shadow rapped on his saucer with his glass. The younger waiter went over to him. "What do you want?" The old man looked at him. "Another brandy," he said. "You will be drunk," the waiter said. The old man looked at him. The waiter went away. "He will stay up all night," he said to his colleague. "I am sleepy now. I never get into bed before 3 o'clock. He should have killed himself last week." The waiter took the brandy bottle and another saucer from the counter inside the cafe and marched out to the old man's table. He put down the saucer and poured the glass full of brandy. "You should have killed yourself last week," he said to the dead man. The old man motioned with his finger. "A little more," he said. The waiter poured on into the glass so that the brandy slopped over and ran down the steam into the top saucer of the pile. "Thank you," the old man said. The waiter took the bottle back inside the cafe. He sat down at the table with his colleague again. "He's drunk now," he said. "He's drunk every night. What did he want to kill himself for? How should I know? How did he do it? He hung himself with a rope. Who cut him down? His knees. Why did they do it? Fear for his soul. How much money has he got? He has got plenty. He must be 80 years old. Anyway, I should say he was 80. I wish he would go home. I never get to bed before 3 o'clock. What kind of hour is that to go to bed? He stays up because he likes it. He's lonely. I am not lonely. I have a wife waiting in bed for me. He has a wife once too. A wife would be no good for him now. You can't tell. He might be better with a wife. His niece looks after him. You said she cut him down. I know. I wouldn't want to be that old. An old man is a nasty thing. Not always. This old man is clean. He drinks without spilling, even now, drunk. Look at him. I don't want to look at him. I wish he would go home. He has no regard for those who must work. The old man looked from his glass across the square, then over at the waiters. Another brandy, he said, pointing to the glass. The waiter who was in a hurry came over. "Finished," he said, speaking with that omission of syntax stupid people employ when talking to drunken people or foreigners. "No more tonight. Closed now."
Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much, Rania. That was so nice. Now, after listening to Rania, I shall move on to our wonderful student, Diana Iman, who will read from the one-act play called The Witch of Clothes by the American playwright Donald Trump. The mic is yours.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Diana. Today I'm going to present you a short play which is called The Witch of Clothes, written by Robert Frost. It is a horror story about a skeleton in a closet. It is composed in unround centimeter and may be read as a short story or even after a brief one-act play. The topic is goes around between the mother and her son. The mother says, "Fox thinks a witch who has some evil spirit. She could call out to us a little evening at one. We burned at the stake or something. Some spirit is in button, who's got the button? I would have been no." And the son says, "Mother can make on the table. We ran with 2 legs like an armed mule." And mother says, "And when I've done it, what good have I done? Rather than say it from you. Let me tell you what wrong is in control once told me. He said that the dead have souls, but when I asked him how could that be, I thought that the dead were souls. He drove my sons. Don't that make you suspicious that there is something the dead are keeping back?" "Yes, there is something the dead are keeping back." The son says, "You wouldn't want to tell him what we have at back with him, mother?" The mother says, "Bones, a skeleton." The son says, "But the headboard of mother's bed is pushed against the attic door. The door is nailed. It's harmless. Mother pierced it in the hands of the attic bed behind the barrier of door and headboard, where it wants to get his bag to the cellar where it came from." And mother says, "We will never let them. Will we, son? We will never."
Well, thank you very much. Our That was so great. For now, again, getting back to our gifted student, Saad Muhammad, who will read a poem by the English poet Edgar Allan Poe called The Raven. I am handing the mic to you.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Today I can present a read for you. Alright. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, our topic in our poem today is The Raven, which is a narrative poem by an American writer, Edgar Allan Poe. First published in January 1845. The poem is often noted for its musicality, stylized language, and supernatural lasfi. It tells of a talking raven's mysterious visit to distract lava, tracing the man's slow descent into madness. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I bound its wake and weary, over many acquainted and accursed ball of forgotten law. Well, I know definitely nothing, simply the camera tapping, as if some gently rapping at my chamber door. To some visitor, I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this and nothing more. Distinctly I remember it was the black December, and the serpentine ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Sorry for this interruption. Deep into the darkness then, long I stood there, wandering, fearing, darting dreams. Dreams no matter every day to dreams before. But the silence was unbroken, and the silence gave no token. And the only word there was spoken, the whispered word, no. This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, they know, merely this and nothing more. Prophet, said I, they know the evil, a prophet still appeared or devil. With a tempest hand, how the tempest used, he assured, the soul all and muttered, on the desert and land enchanted, on this bar and haunted, tell me truly I implore. Quoth the raven nevermore, and the raven never flitting, still sitting on the bough post of the falls, just above my chamber door. And it dies of all sea of demons that is grief, and the long light awakening dream throws shadow of the floor. And my soul from out the shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted and never more. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. That was beautiful reading. Well, our next reading will be with our talented student, Mohammed, who will read soliloquies from the greatest English playwright William Shakespeare's tragedy, Macbeth. The mic is yours,
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to thank all our supervisors for having me here to be part of this activity. I'm going to read some selected soliloquies from Macbeth, a tragedy written by the popular, the one and only William Shakespeare, as he shows his excellence in using soliloquies in drama. On this part, soliloquies are literary devices used mainly to express the feeling, inner thoughts, personality, and mind of set of the character. For Macbeth, soliloquies are the heart and the soul as they represent the inner debate, the aspects of Macbeth's motivation. For example, Macbeth, the greatest warrior, after being cursed by the witches and Lady Macbeth, he eventually decided to kill King Duncan to acquire his position. In Act 2, Scene 1, he hallucinates a blood-stained dagger and says, "Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not, pale vision, sensible, to feeling, to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation? Delusions and visions play an important part in this play. Shakespeare employed these instruments in several scenes to disclose one's state of mind, motive, guilt, regret. So written in guilt, Macbeth's imagination conjures up an impalpable image of bloody dagger, which directs him to Duncan's sleep chamber. Just after killing Duncan, Macbeth continues his murder in his way, in the fanatic desire for peace of mind enrolls evil. Like a true philosopher, he now comprehends his present state. Macbeth spinning in his utters the most soliloquy effective one in Act 5. I am sick at heart. I have lived long enough. My way of life is falling too serious. The yellow leaf and that which should accompany the old age, as honor, love, obedience, troops of friends, I must not look to have, but in their stead, curses, not loud but deep, mouth honor, breath, which through the heart would fain deny and dare not. Finally, after reading the news of his wife's death, he responds in low key and bitter in one of the overly greatest speeches in all of Shakespeare's. He accepts the news with a horrifying calm. She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow creeps in this steady pace from day to day, to the last syllable of record time, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools. The way of death to death, out, out, brief candle. Life's about walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets in his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It's a tale told by idiots, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Well done, Harry. Actually, that was so brilliant. Now, reading Shakespeare, I will move on to Emily Bronte, who is one of the most important English novelists that our amazing student, Rahma Sarah, is going to read selected extracts from her famous novel, Wuthering Heights. The floor is yours. Rahma.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming here today. I'm Rahma from Culture Arts English Department. Oh, this is Jeffrey speaking. Why am I in heaven nearly? I should be extremely miserable. Because you're not fit to go there. I knew the answer. Also, this will be miserable in heaven. But it's not for that. I think what the eye is like. I told you, I will not pick with you dreaming scattering. I will go to bed. I dropped it again, he laughed and held me down, for I need emotion to leave my chair. This is nothing, cried she. I was only going to say that heaven did not seem to be my home, and I broke my heart with weapons to come back to it. And the angels were still angry that they put me out into. The middle of the heat, under the Wuthering Heights, who I walked, filled with joy, that was used to explain my secret. As well as the others, I have no longer to marry him, that I have to be in heaven. And if there were a man in there had not brought him so long, I should not have thought of it. He would degrade me to marry him. Pickwick now, so he shall never know how I love him. And that not because he's handsome, but because he's myself and I am. Whatever our sons are made of, his and mine are the same. And intent is so different as a moonbeam from lightning, or a crystal from fire. His speech ended, I became sensible of Heckler's business. Having no supply movement, I said no, and still hung right upon the bench, and still argument rested. He had listened till he had carefully said it would be great to have to marry him, and then he stayed till he knew him. My companion, still on the climb, was prevented by the back of the settle from marking his presence of caution. But I started and made her hush. Why? She asked, gazing nervously around. Oh, he could not overhear me at the door, says she. Give me her then, while you get the supper, and it is ready, ask me to sup with you. I want to give my uncomfortable conscience, and be convinced that Heckworth has no notion of these things. He has not, has he? He does not know what meaning of love is. He quite deservedly separated, she exclaimed with an accent of indication. Who's to separate us, pray? They will meet the fate of William, not as of desire of Ellen, for no mortal creature. Everyone to know the face of earth may melt into nothing before I could consent to forsake Hecla. Oh, that's not what I intended. That's not what I mean. I should be Mrs. Linton, with such a prize demanded. He will be as much to me as he has all his lifetime. If you must shake off his antipathy and berate him, at least he will learn my true feelings towards him. Really, I see now, you think me as a sophistry, but did it never strike you that if I and Heckworth got married, we should be beggars, wearers? If I marry Linton, I can aid Heckworth to rise, and replace him out of my brother's power. With your husbandman, Miss Gathering? I asked. You will find him not as so playful as he played to be open, and though I'm hardly a judge, I think that's the worst motive you have given yet for being the wife of young Linton. My love for Linton is like foolish ignorance. Time will change it. I'm well aware, as winter changed the trees. My love for Hitler resembles the infinite love in me, a source of still visible delight. When necessary, nearly I am Heckler's, he's always in my mind, not as a pleasure anymore. Then I'm always a pleasure to myself. but as my own being, to adopt her or separation again, it is impracticable, and she knows. Heart of praise and the thought of my will, but I drifted forcibly away. I was out of patience with her fully. I can make any sense of your nonsense, miss, I said. It will go to convince me that you are ignorant of the duties you undertake in marrying, or else that you are a wicked, predictable girl. But trouble me with no more secrets. I will not promise to keep them. Miss
Thank you very much, Rahma, for your amazing reading. That was so nice. Well, in the end, for all, thank you, our experienced students and the Department of English and Translation. You've been wonderful, talented, and interesting in your reading. Also, I want to thank all of my colleagues for their participation and crucial role to hold such an amazing cultural event as part of the Part 1 week of the University of Mosul. Now, I shall give the floor to Mr. Farah in order to introduce our amazing student in the department, in the French department.
Merci, mademoiselle. À l'occasion de la journée de la Semaine internationale de la francophonie, aujourd'hui, nous avons 3 étudiants de notre département de français, Talabé, Lina et Al-Hassan, qui vont présenter de la poésie, du roman et à la fin en conte. Je donne la parole à Talabé pour présenter votre texte.
Bonjour tout le monde. Je suis Talabé du département du français. Je vais réciter un poème intitulé Pierre de Carbone, d'un poète français. Et la mer et l'amour. Et la mer et l'amour en la mer on partage. Et la mer est amère, et l'amour est amer. L'on s'aligne en l'amour aussi bien que la mer, car la mer et l'amour ne sont pas sans orage. Celui qui craint les mots, qu'il demeure en otage. Celui qui craint les mots, qu'on sauve son réveil. Qu'il ne se laisse pas à l'amour enflammer. Et tout ils seront sans hasard de l'orage. La mer de l'amour et la mer de vertu. Le feu sort de l'amour, sa mère sort de l'eau. Et l'eau contre ce feu ne peut fonder les arbres. Si l'eau devait attendre un baiser d'un ton amour qui ne peut et si fort de l'eau, qu'il j'ose ses cantons, peu de la mer, de ma larme. Merci. Ok. Maintenant, on passe la parole à Lina.
J'avais été découragée par le système de dessin animé A et mon dessin animé O. Les 3 personnes ne comprennent jamais le personnage. Et ça, fatigant les enfants du privé et toujours rejeté les explications. J'ai donc choisi un autre métier et j'ai appris à piloter les avions. J'ai voulu aller partout dans le monde et la géographie était de tellement poussée. Je savais obtenir du premier coup d'œil les chiffres des horizons. Cet outil, si le temps égalé condamné. J'ai aussi eu, au cours de ma vie, des tas de contacts avec des tas de gens. J'ai beaucoup touché les 30%. Je l'ai vu très près. Ça ne va pas améliorer mon vie.
Bonjour tout le monde. Ça c'était d'accord. On va commencer. Je vais juste lire une parade, Lina. Et je vais lire une conte par Guy qui est écrit en français très simple. Je vais commencer. Le premier chapitre. On le connaît à 10 km environ. Le père noir, le gros noir, toi ma fille. Antoine Michalis, le petit patron de carré de Tournon. Il a reçu le village caché dans une nuit qui descend vers la mer. Petit village paysan d'Inison. Non, contre des pauvres. Ils ont là, ces maisons dans cette ville tout vert, d'arbres ils sont. S'être cachés dans un trou pour éviter le grand vent de la mer. Le village tout entier semble appartenir à Antoine Michalis, qu'on appelle souvent aussi toi et toi ma fille, à cause d'une expression qu'il employait souvent. Ma fille est le premier de France, sa fille, c'est son oncle bien sûr. Depuis 20 ans, il fait pouvoir sa vie tous les pays, car chaque fois qu'on lui demande qu'est-ce que nous allons voir il répond toujours la même chose. Une fille, mon gendre, ça chauffe le ventre et ça noie la tête. Il n'y a rien de meilleur pour la corde. Mais si c'est l'habitude d'appeler tout le monde mon gendre, et pourtant, il n'est pas du tout marié ou à marier. Oh oui, on le connaît comme ma fille, le plus gros homme du pays et même de toute la région. Son café s'appelle les cafés des amis. Et le père Point, c'est vraiment l'ami de toute la région. Il boit tout ce qu'on a l'eau avec une joie dans ce nom est malin. Une joie qui vient de son plaisir. Plaisir de boire et d'abord et le plaisir de gagner de l'argent, sans faire rien. Le moqueur de pays lui demande pourquoi est-ce que tu ne bois pas le mer, père Point. Il y a deux choses qui m'empêchent. Première, elle est sale. Et deuxième, il faudrait le mettre en bouteille. Car mon ventre ne peut pas boire cette tasse-là. Et puis, il faut attendre ce dispute avec sa femme. C'est assez drôle, comme au théâtre. Depuis 30 ans qu'ils sont mariés, ils se disputent tous les jours, mais tranquilles, alors que se femme, elle se fâche. C'est une grande paysane, marchand long, pas comme moi. Et pourtant, sur son corps mère, on plante de chouette. Et ça, c'était le final de cette histoire. J'espère que vous allez aimer. Merci à tous.
شكرا جزيلا إلى قناة الفرنسية على بعض النصوص الأدبية التركية. وأسلم المايك إلى الأستاذ رؤوف من قسم اللغة التركية.
Herkese merhaba. Sayın Edebiyat Fakültesi Dekanı, Doçent Doktor Muhammed Ali Bey, Sayın Türk Dil ve Edebiyat Bölüm Başkanı Doktor Şeyma İmat Yahya, Sayın Hocalarım, sevgili öğrenciler ve değerli konuklar. Sur Üniversitesi Edebiyat Fakültesi ile Frankfoni Merkezi'nin düzenlediği 3. Okuma Festivali'ne hoş geldiniz, şerefler verdiniz. Şimdi 2. sınıf öğrencilerimizden Muhammed Emin Arap, kendisi çalışkan ve şiir okumada gayret gösteren, gelecekte bunun gibi etkinliklerde hep katkısı olacak inşallah. Muhammed Emin, Abdurrahim Karakoç'un şiirlerinden Yalvarış, Zaman Kısa, Ben Yorgunum, Yol Uzun adlı bir şiir parçasını sizlere okuyacak. Muhammed buyur.
Ya Rab, bu hasrete can dayanmıyor. Zaman kısa, ben yorgunum, yol uzun. Her adımda bir engel var, sarmıyor. Zaman kısa, ben yorgunum, yol uzun. Mümkün mü bu yolda maksude ermek? Mümkün mü sılada dost yüzü görmek? Aşka ar gelir, geriye dönmek. Zaman kısa, ben yorgunum, yol uzun. Çekilmez bir çilek vurdu arkama. Şaşırdım yollarda, kaldım arkama. Umudum her zaman bakidir ama zaman kısa, ben yorgunum, yol uzun. Sevilmemek varsa kaderde, hangi doktor ilaç bulur bu derde? Hastayım, suskunum, gurbet ellerde. Zaman kısa, ben yorgunum, yol uzun. Ey hanların hanını halleden hancı, bir yurdun aşkınla durdu bu sancı. Ey fakir, emeği, mümin inancı, zaman kısa, ben yorgunum, yol uzun.
Muhammed'e teşekkür ediyoruz. Şimdi sıra 4. sınıf öğrencilerimizden Muhammed Abdurrahman, kendisi çalışkan ve bu tür etkinliklerde her zaman gayret göstermektedir. Muhammed sizlere Nilin Hatun'un ve Dua Etmesem şiirini okuyacak. Buyurun.
Ben umardım ki seni yarın defada olasın. Ne bileydim ki seni böylece fakir olasın. Rahi aşkımda neler çektim, ey dost benim. Bilesin bir gün ola, aşka gittikler olasın. Sözüme uymadın, ey aslasız dil. Bilerim, seni zülküne aşık, ahiri tekrar olasın. Sen ki Gülşen'in bir gülü nebdestesisin. Ne vardır bu ki, har olasa yar olasın. Beni azadayken aşka giriftar ettin. Göreyim sen de benim gibi giriftar olasın. Beddua etmezem ama ki hudadan dilerim. Bir senin gibi cefakara hevadar olasın. Şimdi bir haldeyiz, kim ilan düşmanıma, der ki mihri geli, sen dahi isyatkar olasın. Teşekkür ederim.
Evet, Muhammed'e teşekkür ediyorum. Şimdi sıra 4. sınıf öğrencilerinden Belkıs Varlık ve Mumessa'yı kendisi çalışkan ve böyle etkinliklerde hep gayret göstermektedir. Sizlere Cahit Sıtkı Tarancı'nın şiirlerinden Yaş 35 adında bir şiir parçası okuyacak. Yorulun. Kendisi çalışkan ve bu tür etkinliklerde her zaman gayret göstermektedir. Muhammed sizlere Cemal Süreya'nın Sesinde Ne Var Biliyor Musun şiirini okuyacak. Buyurun Muhammed.
Biliyor musun? Bir bahçenin ortasında mavi kış çiçeği. Sigara içmek için doskada çalıyorsun. Sesinde ne var? Biliyor musun? Uykusuz tefişi var. İşinden memnun değilsin. Bu kadar sevmiyorsun. Bir adam hazırlıksını katlar. Sesinde ne var? Biliyor musun? Eski kuşlar Van'ın birkaç gün görünmedi. Okul şarkıları var. Sesinde ne var? Yok. Evde anıları var. İki de eli başını rüzgarda dağlar yalnızlığı düzekmiş. Sesinde ne var? Yok. Söylemediğin sözcükler var. Küçücük şeyler verirken ama günün bu saatinde anıt gibi duruyor. Sesinde ne var? Şükürler.
Teşekkürler Muhammed. Şimdi sıra 4. sınıf öğrencisi Ahlam Salim. Kendisi çalışkan, ilk kez bu tür etkinliklere katılıyor ve kendisine başarılar dilerim. Sizlere Yavuz Bülent'in Sen Gelince şiirini okuyacak. Buyurun.
Sen gelince güzelleşir etrafım döne varsa. Ellerim de güzelleşir, gözlerim de sende. Sabatlanır yüreğim baştan başa seninle. Yeryüzünde sen olursun, mübarek gökyüzünde. Sen gülünce açılır kır çiçekleri. Usulca boy verir gönlümün sarmaşığı. Aydınlanır, yanım yüreğim, şaşar kalırım. Ey içimin dışımın, söndür ışığı. Ben sana düşünce güneşler doğar. Cıvıl cıvıl bütün efkarım, türkü dersen olursun, kelamda, aşıkta, sürmeliyim, hüsnkarım. Sen susunca susar bütün şarkılar, söylenmez olur adım. Değirmen taşları dönüp durur üstümde, kırılır olur kanadım. Sen gidince küçük kıyamet kopar, başlar karanlığım artık. Bir rehin, bir korku, bir efkar, yüreğime demir atar yalnızlık. Teşekkürler.
Teşekkürler Rahne. Evet, şimdi sıra son öğrencimiz Nermin Sabri'de. Kendisi 4. sınıfta çalışkan ve böyle etkinliklerde başarı gösteren bir öğrencidir. Sizlere Cemal Süreyya'nın Uzaktan Seviyorum Seni şiirini okuyacak. Buyurun.
Uzaktan seviyorum seni. Kokunu alamadan, boynuna sarılamadan, yüzüne dokunamadan, sadece seviyorum. Öyle, uzaktan seviyorum seni. Elini tutamadan, yüreğine dokunamadan, gözlerine dalılıp. Şu 3 günlük sevdalara inat. Serserice değil, adam gibi seviyorum. Öyle, uzaktan seviyorum. Yanaklarına sızan 2 damla yaşını silmeden, en çılgın kahkahalarına ortak olmadan, en sevdiğin şarkıyı beraber mırıldanmadan, öyle uzaktan seviyorum seni. Kırmadan, dökmeden, parçalamadan, üzmeden, ağlatmadan, uzaktan seviyorum seni. Sana söylemek istediğim her kelimeyi dilimden parçalayarak seviyorum. Damla damla dökülürken kelimelerim masum, beyaz bir kalıpta seviyorum.
Evet, Nermin'e güzel okumasından dolayı teşekkür ediyoruz. Ve burada bizim bölüm katılımcıların sunumlarını bitirmiş oldu. Dinlediğiniz için teşekkür ediyoruz.
الشكر الجزيل إلى أساتذة وطلبة قسم اللغة التركية على هذا البناء الرائع خصوص من الأدب التركي. الآن نقدم لكم طلبة قسم اللغة العربية. فليتفضل دكتور هلال مشكورا بتقديم الطلبة من أجل قراءة نصوص في اللغة العربية.
من النصوص طبعا نحن لدينا مشاركات عدد من الطلبه. نبدا على بركه الله مع الطالبه المبدعه في المرحله الثالثه آمنة سعيد لتقرأ علينا قصيدة الشاعر السودانية روضة الحاج واليوم بتاعنا ممثلة. فلتتفضل مشكورا.
قصيدة الشاعر السودانية روضة الحاج بعنوان اليوم دعنا نتفق. اليوم دعنا نتفق. أنا قد تعبت ولم يعد في القلب ما يكفي الجراح. أنفقت كل الصبر عندك والتجلل والتجمل والسماع. أنا ما تركت لمثل الأيام شيئا إذ ظننتك آخر خطوات في الدنيا. تسرحت المراكب كلها وقصصت عن قلبي الجناح. أنا لم أعد أقوى وموعدنا الذي قد كان راح. فارد إلي بضاعتي. أنا لم أعد أقوى وموعدنا الذي قد كان راح. فارد إلي بضاعتي. ضوء انصرافك لم يزل يبني جبين تكبري زيفا.
تجرعني المرارة والنواح. اليوم دعنا نتفق، لا فرق عندك إن بقيت وإن مضيت، لا فرق عندك إن ضحكنا هكذا كذبا وإن وحدي بكيت. فأنا تركت أحبتي ولديك أحباب وبيت، وأنا هجرت مدينتي وإليك يا بعضي أتيت. وأنا اعتزلت الناس والدنيا فما أنفقت لي من أجل أن نبقى، وماذا قد جنيت. وأنا وهبتك مهجتي جهرا فهل سرا نويت. اليوم دعنا نتفق، اليوم دعنا نتفق. دعني أوقع عنك ميثاق الرحيل، مني بشيء مستحيل. قل لي شروطك كلها إلا التي فيها قضيت. إن قلت أو إن لم تقل أنا قد مضيت.
من الطالبة المبدعة آمنة. الآن مع طالب قادم من جبال سجار ليقرأ علينا قصيدته التي كتبها نفحات من بكاء عاشق غريب. أمير بركات. تفضل.
ما لهؤلاء العاشقين لا يطوفون عن البكاء، ما لهؤلاء المتعبين العابرين يلوحون لي بمناديل تذكرني ببكائي. أنا متعب مثلهم، أنا وجع أخذني بقلمي، وأنا صرخة الورق. أنا شاعر خارج أسوار القافية، أكتب أكتب أكتب حتى تنطفئ الدموع. أو أنا عاشق وأوجاعي كثيرة مثل دموع الماغوط. أنا عاشق وخيبتي كبيرة كبيرة، فقد عادت كل أسراب الحمائم دونها. منذ اقتربنا لم نعد أنا والأخوان صحبة، لم نعد ننشد قصائد الغزل معا في الصباح وفي المساء. عن أي خير تتحدثين؟ صباحاتي تكسرت واضمحلت قبل قلوب العاشقين. وما أنا متعب كصرخات دنقل في أوراق الغرفة الثامنة، وهذه الملامح رتيبة جدا. أماه أنا متعب، الخريف الأصفر آت ولا زلت أبكي. لو تتسع الدنيا مثل عينيها وتغرق مثلهما. لو يأتي ليل لا أنام فيه على وجع. لو نصبح مرة على خير. أماه أنا متعب كحنجرة النواب في الحانة القديمة، وهذه الملامح أثقل من أن أحملها. أماه أنا متعب كرئة نازح مغرور أتعبته خيمة أو رصيف أو مصطبة في الشتاء، وبي من كل حب ندم يفتك بأطراف أصابعي. أماه اشتقت يدا قد نسيت طرق أبواب الحزينة، وصبرت على الحزن وصبرت حتى أنجب صبري أيوبا آخر. أماه أنا متعب كبائع المياه على الطرقات، وكل أشياء متعبة. تعالي نجدد المشهد، نعود للطفولة وندخن غليونا من حقول جدي القديمة. ونبكي معا كما كنا أماه وحيدان مذ كنا أماه أنا متعب قرب الناي مني أماه لا تبعد الدليل عني أماه لا تخدعيني لم أكبر لا تخدعيني لم أكبر. شكرا لكم.
شكرا لشاعرنا المبدع منير بركات على هذه القصيدة التي أحيت مواعظ ومواجع العراقيين. الآن مع قصيدة يلقيها طالب في المرحلة الأولى يوسف لقمان، وهي قصيدة غريبة عن الخليج للشاعر العراقي المعروف بنشاط.
قصيدة غريب عن الخليج للشاعر بدر شاكر السيار. أحببت فيك عراق روحي أو أحببتك أنت فيك، يا أنتما مصباح روحي، أنتما وأتى المساء. لو جئت في البلد الغريب إلي ما كمل اللقاء، الملتقى بك والعراق على يدي هو اللقاء. شوق يخض إليه دمي، شوق يخض دمي إليه كأن دمي اشتهاء، جوع إليه كجوع كل دم الغريق إلى الهواء. شوق الجنين إذا اشرحب من الظلام إلى الولادة. الشمس أجمل في البلاد من سواها والظلام، الشمس أجمل في بلادي من سواها والظلام. حتى الظلام هناك أجمل، فهو يحتضن العراق. وحسرتاه متى أنام فأحس أني على الوسادة. من ليلك الصيفي طلا فيه عطرك يا عراق، طلا فيه عطرك يا عراق.
شكرا للطالب يوسف لقمان على هذا الوفاء في تجربته الأولى. الآن أيضا لدينا طالب من المرحلة الأولى وهو طالب علي زوفل حسن حجيب، لديه قصيدة للشاعر عبد الله البردوني التي عرض فيها قصيدة أبي تمام لنلقيها بين مسامعنا.
السلام عليكم. قصيدة الشاعر اليمني عبد الله البردوني في معارضة قصيدة أبي تمام بعنوان الأمام معروف اليوم. ما أصدق السيف إن لم ينتهي الكذب، وأكذب السيف إن لم يسبق الغضب. بير الصفائح أهدى حين تحملها أيد، إذا غلبت يعلو بها الغلب. وأقبح النصر نصر الأقوياء بلا فهم، سوى فهمك انباعوا وانكسبوا. أدهى من الجهل علم يطمئن إلى أنصاف ناس قروا للعلم واقتصروا. ماذا ترى يا أبا تمام تسألني؟ عفوا سألوي ولا تسأل وما السبب؟ يدني السؤال حيانا حين تسأله، كيف احتفت به إذا حيف أو النقب؟ من ذا يلهي أما إصرار مقتصم؟ كلا وأخزى من العشرين ما صلبوا. حبيب هذا صلاك اليوم منشده، لكن لماذا ترى وجهي وتكتئب؟ ماذا أتعجب من شيبي على صغري؟ إني ولدت عجوزا كيف تعتجب؟ وأنت من شبت قبل الأربعين على نار الحماسة تجدوها وتنتخب، طوفت حتى وصلت الموصل انطفأت فيك الأمان ولم يشبع لها أرض. ألا ترى يا أبا تمام مبارقنا إن السماء ترجع عن الحسين.
شكرا للطالب علي على هذا الإلقاء. طيب ختامها مسك، وإن كان سنختم مع قصيدة أغاني وفاطمة أحمد الثقافي قصة من الأدب الإسباني، قصة قصيرة جدا مؤلمة أيضا، من أروع وأفضل ما كتب وأعلى ما كتب في الأدب الإسباني، قصة بعنوان اكتد. تفضل مشكور.
في الأدب الإسباني قصة قصيرة للكاتب الإسباني رافائيل موضوع بعنوان توأمي. لم أسامح أخي التوأم الذي هجرني لكن 6 دقائق في بطن أمي وتركني هناك وحيدا مذعورا في الظلام عائما كرائد فضاء في بطن أمي مستمعا إلى القبلات تنهمر عليه في الجانب الآخر. كانت تلك أطول 6 دقائق في حياتي، وهي التي حددت في النهاية أن أبي سيكون الابن الأكبر والمفضل لأمي. منذ ذلك الحين صرت أسبق أخي في الخروج من كل الأماكن، من الغرفة، من البيت، من المدرسة، من السينما، مع أن ذلك كان يكلفني أن أفوت مشاهدة رواية الفيلم. وفي يوم من الأيام انتهيت فخرج أخي قبلي إلى الشارع، وبينما كان ينظر إلي بابتسامته الوديعة دهسته سيارة. أتذكر أن والدتي لدى سماعها صوت الضربة ركضت من المنزل ومرت من أمامي، ذراعاها كانتا ممدودتان نحو جثة أخي ولكنها تصرخ باسمي. حتى هذه اللحظة لم أصحح لها خطأها أبدا. كنت أنا وعاشت.
الآن ننهي نحن مشاركتنا في الساحة الأكاديمية.
الشكر الجزيل إلى أساتذة وطلبة قسم اللغة العربية على هذه المشاركة الفاعلة وعلى النصوص المؤثرة والإذاعة الراقي. في ختام مهرجاننا لا يسمعنا إلا شكر جميع الأقسام طلبة وأساتذة على مشاركتهم وعلى دورهم في رصد المهرجانات الثقافية والأدبية بمختلف اللغات وكلية الآداب العزيزة. الآن أترك الكلمة الأخيرة إلى الدكتور عبد الله خير فليتفضل مشكورا.
شكرا جزيلا. في البدء اشكر الساده الحضور والساده المشاركين في هذا المهرجان. طبعا مهرجان القراءه والمهرجان بدأناه قبل سنوات ونجحت التجربه. بدأ النشاط بقسمين اللغه العربيه واللغه الانجليزيه، ثم عملنا بعد ذلك لمشاركه كليات واقسام اخرى، فبدأ المهرجان الثاني ب7 اقسام. واليوم نكمل هذا المهرجان، مهرجان القراءة الثالث، طبعا برعاية المعهد الثقافي الفرنسي ومنظمة اكتد. ويأتي طبعا هذا المهرجان ضمن احتفاليات الأسبوع الفرنسي للغة الفرنسية. ما يميز هذا النشاط أنه نشاط طلابي بالدرجة الأولى، فإنه يعتمد على الطلاب وعلى اعتماد الأداء وأداء القراءة وعملية حفظ النصوص حتى الجانب التعبيري. لذلك نحن نركز في جميع النشاطات على الطلبة من أجل تقوية الأداء وعملية القراءة وأسلوب التعبير، وهذا النشاط مهم إن شاء الله تعالى سنستمر به. ربما كان لدينا نشاطات أخرى قبل أحداث 2014
لكننا بدأنا أن نؤرخ بهذه النشاطات بعد التحضير. لماذا؟ لأن الموصل تنهض من جديد وستنهض إن شاء الله تعالى وتعود أقوى وأفضل من السابق بوجودكم وبمشاركاتكم وبأنشطتكم العلمية. بالنسبة للمهرجان تم تصوير النصوص بالكامل وسيتم تحميل الفيديوهات على موقع الكلية وسيسمح طبعا المشاركين ومتابعين الصفحات الكلية بالتصويت على أفضل أداء، وسيكون أفضل 3 مشاركين طبعا أفضل 3 فائزين في التصويت اعتمادا على تصويت الجمهور. قد لا يكون تصويت الجمهور يعني صادق 100% لأنه يعتمد طبعا على مسائل معينة، لكن نريد أن نشجع الجمهور أيضا على المتابعة والقراءة والمطالعة، لذلك جميع من شارك في هذا المهرجان هو فائز. بالنسبة لنا هم فائزون لأنهم استطاعوا أن يشاركوا واستطاعوا أن يعتمدوا المنصة، ونحن نفتخر بهؤلاء الطلبة. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.